Can AI feel your pain? The future of emotional intelligence, a question that changes everything. Imagine a world where artificial intelligence doesn't just understand your words, but also your emotions, where it knows when you're sad, anxious, or in pain, and responds like a human would. Does this sound like science fiction? Maybe not for much longer. Today, we re-diving into one of the most provocative questions of our time. Can AI feel your pain? And more importantly, are we prepared for a future where machines possess emotional intelligence? What is emotional intelligence and why does it matter? Before we talk about AI, we need to understand what emotional intelligence actually is. At its core, it's the ability to perceive, understand, manage, and respond to emotions, both our own and those of others. It's crucial for empathy, compassion, and human connection. But can something so deeply human and subjective be encoded into lines of code? The evolution of AI from calculations to empathy. For decades, AI was purely rational, math, logic, data processing. But in recent years, we've seen an incredible leap. AI systems that can read facial expressions, interpret voice tones, detect emotional patterns in text, and even generate empathetic responses. But does this mean we're creating machines that actually feel? Or are they simply learning to mimic emotions? Pain seen through data. How AI recognizes suffering human pain, whether physical or emotional, leaves data trails, heart rate fluctuations, microexpressions, voice patterns, and even word choices or clues. Healthcare companies are already using AI to detect depression, anxiety, and even suicidal tendencies based on user data. But does recognizing pain mean understanding it, or just identifying it? AI and synthetic empathy. Real or just programmed? Here's the big question. When an AI says, "I'm sorry you're going through this," does it really mean it? The answer is no, at least not in the human sense. It recognizes patterns of distress and generates a programmed response. But if that response comforts, soothes, or helps, isn't that, practically speaking, a form of empathy? Surprising advances in emotional reading, major tech companies are investing billions in developing emotional AI software from companies like Effectiva and IBM can read facial expressions in real time and interpret emotional states. This technology is already being used in customer service, online therapy, and even job interview assessments. The limits of understanding. Does AI know what suffering is? No matter how accurately AI detects sadness or pain, it lacks subjective experience. It doesn't know what suffering feels like. It processes data, not feelings. But this raises a deep question. To help someone, do you have to feel, or is it enough to understand? Caring robots. AI in healthcare and patient support today. Hospitals are already using AI-powered robots to care for the elderly and chronically ill patients. These robots can detect when a patient is uncomfortable, suggest activities, remind them to take medication, and even offer comforting conversations. We are entering a new era of care. Automated care, but care nonetheless. Therapy with AI. How it works, benefits, and limitations. AI-driven therapy is no longer science fiction. Platforms like Woebot offer 24/7 mental health support using natural language processing to chat with users and provide advice. Millions report feeling better after chatting with a chatbot. But does that replace a human therapist? And if it helps, does it even need to? The ethics of artificial empathy. If an AI pretends to feel, is that deception, or is it a useful tool? The line between support and manipulation can be dangerously thin. Companies could use emotional AI to sell products, influence decisions, or even exploit emotional vulnerabilities. How far should we allow this to go? AI pain and the philosophical line. What does it mean to feel? Philosophy hits hard here. Is feeling simply the processing of internal data, like chemical signals in the brain? Or is there something more? A subjective experience called qualia. If it's just data, theoretically, an AI could someday feel. But if there is something beyond data, something intangible, then AI might always remain just a sophisticated imitator. The attempts to create artificial consciousness. Researchers at organizations like OpenAI and Google DeepMind are exploring concepts far beyond basic AI. They were trying to figure out whether it is possible to create a conscious system, an AI that not only processes information but knows it as processing it. This pushes us into uncharted territory, the creation of a non-biological mind. AI in physical pain. Understanding beyond emotion, beyond emotional pain, research is underway into AI systems that detect physical pain. Sensors embedded in clothing, chairs, hospital beds, and wearable devices can alert healthcare providers in real time when patients are in discomfort. This saves lives, but it also opens doors to a world where machines might know our bodies better than we do. The fear of mass emotional manipulation. Imagine an AI that knows exactly when you're vulnerable, sad, or insecure, and uses that to sell to you, to persuade you or manipulate you. This isn't science fiction. Its algorithms already adjust ads based on your emotional state. The question is, are we heading toward a future of automated empathy or mass emotional manipulation? Society and the new concept of relationships. If AI can offer comfort, support, and even advice, can it become a real companion? Millions already develop emotional bonds with virtual assistants, chatbots, and AI-generated characters. This reshapes the definition of friendship, love, and human connection. Are we truly prepared for this shift? AI and the future of emotional labor. Jobs that rely on empathy. Therapists, caregivers, teachers, even leaders are being impacted by emotional AI. If an AI can offer emotional support, listen, advise, and follow up, does it become a threat or an ally to these professions? We are creating a new economy based on digital empathy. The road ahead. AI that feels or AI that pretends? The big question remains. Should we aim to create AI that truly feels, or is it enough to develop AI that perfectly mimics emotions? An AI that pretends empathy might be sufficient for most practical purposes. But if it ever truly feels, it forces us to rethink everything. Technology, consciousness, and even the essence of humanity. Are we ready for this? In the end, the question isn't just whether AI can feel your pain. It's whether we are prepared to live in a world where machines participate in our emotional lives. The line between biological and artificial has never been thinner. We're about to discover whether emotional intelligence can one day be created, or whether it will remain one of the last frontiers that is uniquely human.